This harvest marks the end of the growing season in Beaujolais and the beginning of one of the wine industry's biggest celebrations, Beaujolais Nouveau. In a few short weeks, the grapes have been picked, fermented, bottled, and shipped across the globe so we can all taste the first wine of the season. These festivities made the region famous, but I'm here to look beyond the hype and to discover all that Beaujolais has to offer. There's a breathtaking, timeless beauty to this region. Rolling hills, ancient villages, and a people connected to the land. We are in the heart of the Beaujolais wine region of France, and harvest is well underway. In a few short weeks, the first wines of the vintage will be finding their way to wine store shelves across the globe. But that's only the beginning of the story that is Beaujolais. I believe the huge success of Beaujolais Nouveau may have overshadowed some of the truly amazing and complex wines that this region produces. I love Beaujolais. They're the consummate bistro wines, so approachable with a surprising range. The best vintages can sometimes be mistaken for fine Burgundy.
Beaujolais and Burgundy have very, very tight links. But the people of Beaujolais realize that they have a treasure there. Because on the schist and granite type of soil, like the Beaujolais mountains, you make a fantastic wine. Today is one of the best value purchase is the Cru of the Beaujolais, because you get a bottle less than 10 euro. It's absolutely fantastic.
There's essentially only one grape grown in Beaujolais, and that's Gamay, an ancient offshoot of Pinot Noir. As in Burgundy, Beaujolais relies on the variation of terroir to give their one grape such a range of style. Thankfully, the division of the Beaujolais region is really easy to understand. There are basically 3 levels of quality based on where the grapes are grown. The southernmost area, simply called Beaujolais, is the largest and where most of the Beaujolais Nouveau comes from. It is flatter and the soil is mainly limestone. These wines are light-bodied and ready to drink. Further north is Beaujolais Village, the mid-quality level. The soil here is a mix of limestone and granite, which gives a wide range of flavors. Wines from here should be enjoyed within 2 to 3 years of vintage. The Cru Beaujolais are the pinnacle of Beaujolais wines and the product of 10 distinct appellations. Beautiful hillsides and rough, stony, granite-based soils. This is where Gamay really shines, with wines that combine the luscious fruit of the basic Beaujolais with structure, concentration, and complexity. However, don't look for the word Beaujolais on the labels. All 10 of the Cru wines are named by their appellation. Each has its own unique character that comes from the differences in terroir. But they all share a family resemblance. There's a growing interest in the wines of Beaujolais, in particular from the Cru appellations. Across the region, it's one grape variety, Gamay, and I'm amazed at the range of expressions from these villages.
The Morgon, for example, is a typical type of complex, round, not aggressive wine. We say very often that the Morgon, when he ages, il pinote. It means that when you taste a 25, 30 years old Morgon, sometimes you think it's a Burgundy wine. You think it's a Pinot Noir.
Gamay is the varietal of tomorrow. I think not too much alcohol, very nice fruit, relatively easy to drink. It's a very charming, easy, everyday life drinking.
Gamay grape It's different than the Pinot. It has two main qualities. First quality, generosity. It's a very generous grape. And like that, it can grow on a very tough soil. Imagine, between limestone, it is a rich soil, and granite, it is a tough soil, acid poor. Second quality is fragility. Very supple tannin, fresh fruit, very big precision in the wine, very delicate wine, but this instrument is like a violin. When you respect, the wine is absolutely marvelous.
In most of Burgundy and much of the world, vines are planted in rows and trellised on wires, which makes mechanical harvesting possible. But here in Beaujolais, vines are predominantly trained in the ancient bush or goblet method. This means that there can be no mechanical harvest. Every bunch is picked by hand. In many ways, Beaujolais is a wine of the people. No matter who I'm with or what we're eating, I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's uncomplicated, affordable, and so versatile. These characteristics come in part from what happens after the harvest. Once picked, grapes are rushed to the crush pad. Here they are hand-sorted and put into fermentation tanks. In Beaujolais, they often use a winemaking technique called carbonic maceration. This helps preserve the fresh and fruity flavors in the grape and results in a wine with lower tannin levels. It's a big part of what makes Beaujolais unique.
So Michael, since 1 week, this is the fermentation carbonic maceration. And the particularity of carbonic maceration is to put the full grapes in the tank.
The whole berries, everything
All
inside.
the berries. We don't destem. So on a tank like that, we can put 9 tons of grapes. So imagine with the weight, the bottom is pressed.
Yes.
So we have some free juice. This free juice begins the fermentation and we close the tank. And the carbon dioxide is on the tank. As you can see, we have the full bunch,
Yes.
we have the stem and the bunch, and we have the fermentation inside the berries.
Because of the sealed tank and lack of oxygen, fermentation starts to take place within the berries themselves. This is what gives Beaujolais wines their distinctive aromas and color.
Naturally, Gamay grapes give us some fruity wines, but with this process, we have more and more aromas on the wine. This name is Paradis flavors. Smell it.
Does smell like paradise. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
While most wine in Beaujolais is made with this technique, some of the Cru wines are made with more conventional methods that may also include aging in oak. The final and one of the most critical decisions is when to bottle the wine. Georges Duboeuf, by far the largest producer in the region, has been making wine here for over 50 years.
C'est pas l'acheteur qui va décider de la mise en bouteille, c'est le vin qui va décider qu'il faut le mettre à telle époque, parce que c'est là qu'il est bien. Par exemple, des moulins à vent 2009, on a attendu plus de 2 ans avant de les mettre en bouteille. C'est pourquoi il faut être tous les jours en dégustation, qu'il faut passer beaucoup de temps, mais c'est très intéressant.
Every day of the year, Georges Duboeuf meets with his son Franck, and they spend a couple of hours monitoring and evaluating the progress of their wines. Their company produces over 30 million bottles annually, but the winemaking decisions rest in their hands. For some, the true measure of a wine's quality is its ability to grow and evolve as it ages, increasing in complexity and gaining secondary flavors. But what is the real aging potential of Beaujolais?
Michael, we will test a Moulin à Vent, Rochegray. Rochegray is the name of the parcel, 2011. I will show you the difference between a young wine and an old wine. Not very old wine in reality. It's between a teenager and adult wine.
A young adult.
Yes. This wine is Moulin à Vent from a very specific parcel. His name is Rochegray. The main stone in Rochegray, it's you see a very old pink grey stone.
Okay.
And the first wine is 2011, very young for me. It's not finished his teenager phase. And you see, you have a wine with a big structure, but the harmony is not completely full.
You're right.
And
a lot of the elements are there, but they're confused.
yes, it is confused, and it closes very quickly at the end. You sense that the wine is not, it's a teenager.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly a teenager. The second, we are in 2000. I'm sure this wine can live maybe 40, 50, 60, I don't know, but very, very long time. And you see immediately the wine is more harmonious.
This is a great example that demonstrates that Beaujolais are age-worthy.
Yes. Sometimes the people, when he drink a very good Cru Beaujolais, said, it's difficult to recognize Gamay and Pinot. I have a technique. If your glass finish on a aristocratic glass, a little rigid, is a Pinot. If your glass finish on a smile, it's a Gamay.
Beaujolais wines, in all their expressions, are excellent choices at the table. The lighter styles can be treated almost as a white wine, while the fuller cru wines match beautifully with heartier foods. One of the things I really like about the wines of Beaujolais is they're so versatile. They have the nice acidity, fruit-driven tannins that are soft, and they really bring the wines to life when you have them with the local cuisine. Whether it's white-colored, dark-colored, Beaujolais, c'est pas.
And it will fit perfectly. Both dishes are very different. With the andouillette, with that white sauce, you are with coq au vin, dark Beaujolais wine sauce, which will go very well with that Moulin à Vent.
Obviously, the wines of Beaujolais are great with the local cuisine, but what about with international foods?
Beaujolais wines fit perfectly well Asian cuisine or cuisine with some spices, whether they are softer or stronger spices. The nice soft acidity of Beaujolais wines would make those spice dishes absolutely tasting wonderful. Santé.
I believe that France's quintessential bistro wine is poised for resurgence. The quality is certainly evident in the glass, and the reputation of Beaujolais rises as consumers discover the value to be found in this unique part of France. Beaujolais produces complex, food-friendly, and age-worthy wines.
Very nice.
I'm convinced that Cru Beaujolais is one of the best values in French wine. If you've only ever had Nouveau, you haven't really tasted Beaujolais.